Okay, this is Law of Cosines. So here's the thing about Law of Cosines. It looks like there's 3 different formulas, but these are actually all the same formula. They're just using different pieces of the triangle, and you have to know when to use that piece of the triangle. Okay? So here's how you need to read these Law of Cosines. Notice one important fact. The side, so A, B, and C, those are all sides, because the angle that's attached to your cosine, or the letter that's attached to your cosine, that's the angle. Here's the very important thing. The letter that's out front should always be across from the angle that's back here. Notice it says A and A. The letter that's out front should always be across from the angle that's back here, B and B. The letter or side that's out front should always be across from the angle that's back here, C and C. So you will have one pair of angles and sides. That's it. Only one. Whatever angle and pair relationship you have, that angle and side is the only one that goes on the outsides. The other 2 sides go in the middle. Okay, so how do we know when to use Law of Cosines? You use Law of Cosines when you know the measure of 2 sides and 1 angle. But it needs to be the included angle, so side angle side. Okay, so here, let me help explain what I was talking about earlier. We only have one pair of angle and side. For example, 28 goes with what side? X. That's our only pair. 28 degrees goes with X. 9 and 11 don't have an angle measure, and we can't even find it, right? We can't find it. Therefore, this is where we use Law of Cosines. Okay, so here's how this would work. What letter goes on the outside using A, B, and C? C. So your Law of Cosines would look like this. C squared equals the other 2 letters, which are A squared plus B squared minus, this is just copying down the formula, minus 2 times the 2 letters that are right in front, so times 2 times A times B times cosine of the letter that's out front, which is C. So you're going to use this same formula every time. The only thing that changes is the C, the A, and the B. Okay, so now let's plug it in. Well, X is what I'm finding, and it's the side. Remember, these right here are always sides. This is your only angle. You always are only going to have one angle in Law of Cosines. So when we're plugging this in, you're going to have X squared equals, what's the side of A? 9. So you'll have 9 squared plus, what's B? 11 squared minus 2 times 9, which was, A, which was 9, told you. B, which was 11, and cosine of 28. Now, what are we solving for? We're solving for X. How do I get that squared away from X? You take the square root, right? Okay, so let's do it. Take the square root, take the square root. If you are super careful, you can plug all of this into your calculator at one time. Watch. Watch. Square root. You have to be super careful. Square root. 9 squared plus 11 squared. Ooh. Gotta be careful. Minus 2 times 9 times 11. You can press times, or you can just press cosine of 28. Not 29, 28. Yours should look just like that. 9 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 9 times 11 cosine 28. Enter.
That's what I got.
Good. Now, if you do not have a healthy relationship with your calculator, I do not recommend this. Okay? Now, I'm going to see if you set it up correctly. If you get here, good job. I would hate for you to miss half of the points just because you and your calculator disagree. Okay, so the answer was 5.2. So could you take this a little bit step by step more if you needed to? Yes. But if you don't need to. Okay, example number 2 is when you have side, side, side. So this time we're finding an angle. So x is our angle. So if x is our angle, then who's going on the outside? 8. So let's skip the setup part and let's try just to jump straight into the equation. 8 squared equals, what are the other two sides? 6 and, does the order of those two matter? It does not matter. Minus 2 times those two sides, cosine of. Now, when we are finding an angle, what is super important that we use? Inverse. You cannot plug all this in your calculator. You are going to have to take this step at a time. Be careful. These are connected. So when you're ready to break these, you will have to do it by division. So I would simplify this and then move this over first. So let's do this. 8 squared is 64. 6 squared plus 3 squared. So I did all that at one time, and it gave me 45. Now I'm going to do 2 times 6 times 3, and it gives me negative 36 cosine of x. With me? Okay, how do I get 45 over? Subtract, so you get 64 minus 45, which is 19. So now I have 19 equals negative 36 cosine of x. So now I need to divide by negative 36. So now I have 19 divided by negative 36. So I have this thing. But now, guys, I have this answer equals cosine of x. How do I break cosine and x? I have to take the inverse. So on your calculator, go to second cosine, second answer, and it'll take that answer and it'll plug it in here. So you should get 121.9. Yeah. Second answer. Okay? So our answer was x rounds to 121.9. A little bit more in depth than law of cosines, right? Okay, tomorrow we will practice. You do not have any homework. You're welcome.